We're joined by head coach Kyle Smith following this weekend's sweep of the Los Angeles schools and ahead of the final Boeing Apple Cup Series against Washington Thursday at 6 p.m. We'll let Coach give his thoughts on the weekend and the upcoming game, and then we'll open it to questions.
Obviously, great weekend for us, being able to win two games and come from behind fashion. And I think it's been like that a little bit at home, and it's just part of being good and playing a little bit of a target on our back. And SC's playing really well, and we were very fortunate to come away with the win there. And then UCLA was just an absolute very physical contest, and I'm just really proud of our guys, the way they weathered the storm and were able to get that thing. And kind of like our Stanford game kind of finished out the same way, and UCLA did. And you'd like to lead wire to wire, but that's not always how it works, especially this time of year. And had Isaiah Watts had a really good weekend to kind of give us another element to our team that hopefully moving forward will help.
Coach, you mentioned kind of falling behind against both the LA schools. Obviously able to come back, but what do you kind of do to make sure you don't get kind of punched in the mouth there early and not have to overcome a 10, 11, 12-point deficit?
We've been good most of the year, getting out to good starts, and obviously Reuben and Oscar kind of been vacillating on the starting stuff, and some of it's been due to injury and health stuff. But if I knew I'd change it immediately. And we've been talking about, you talk about addressing it, and I think it's just new circumstance. I think it's, we've been the hunters, the underdogs forever, or a little bit, and we're getting some really good punches thrown at us, and we haven't responded well. But we responded well, but we need to come out being more, just playing better. We've been struggling to score a little bit starting the game, so hopefully we'll do something that Thursday.
Do you feel like you need to coach this week, or is this just all Coach Shaw after the defense against UW the first time?
He came in today, told me I believe Washington's 14-1 when they score 80 or more, the one being we snuck it out in overtime. So he's grinding it up pretty good. And I had my input, but it's his baby. So they're tough. They really are. They're really fast, explosive team. There can be big swings and scores there, so trying to stop them is not easy.
I'm curious about the impact of Isaiah's dad, Donald, on the team, working with Jalen and Isaiah most. What kind of impact do you see him having, and what kind of trust do you have in him?
Like I said, I've known Donald since he was like 17 when I worked at camp, and he was on my camp team. But I always, like I said, I was wearing a headband tilted to the side when I was 7 years old on a Nerf hoop. So just kind of that basketball royalty a little bit, but he's just a basketball guy and loves following his son, and it's kind of neat to see that bond. I have no idea that he's working with him, but like I said, I heard after the fact, but it's like, it's not like he doesn't know basketball, and these guys, and Jalen's, he's a guy that's gonna finds a resource, he's gonna exploit it and try to figure out a way to get better, and obviously both of them are playing really well, and I think that connectivity helps on the court. I think I see those three, Miles and those two hanging out a lot, and I think they're enjoying the experience, they enjoy one another, and I think Donald's jumping in on it.
And then with the rotation between Reuben and Oscar at center, how do you decide which of those guys to go with? And you mentioned a little bit as health related. Are they
it's
okay?
Been going on the Oregon trip. Reuben was playing well going that, and he had migraines and was sick, and Oscar played really well against Oregon schools, and then we came back home and Oscar was really good against, and it's more sometimes the way we're guarding, like when we're more zone, Oscar's really good back there as far as just kind of guiding that thing. We're more man-to-man, or if there's a physical post player, Reuben's been better. So, and then going down to Arizona's, just Reuben was really good, and that's the first time really Oscar kind of struggled. And thought maybe, but he's been good off the bench all year, so I thought maybe that would do it. So I don't know the answer. And some of our small ball lineup's been good. And I told our guys to hang in there. I said, Oscar, we'll get you back. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. We'll need it. Teams adjusted. They've the way they're guarding us a little bit. Sometimes getting the ball to Isaac's a little easier when we put him at center. And same thing against Washington, they'll play Brooks at center. So it'll be some different looks, and just hang in there. It'll come back. It's a seesaw. Like I said, we're a counter-punching team, so we'll try to how they're playing us, and sometimes it's better for us to play that way. So that's a long answer to what goes through my head.
Speaking of Brooks, he's just such a great player. What do you see from him as a coach, and what goes into trying to slow him down?
He's like a baby Jason Tatum. I mean, he's really it's a little bit you're at his whim when a player's that good. Same with like Collier. A little bit you're going to have a hard time like keeping the Collier in front of you, and you're just kind of hoping you're like this. And a little bit with Brooks too. He's really matured. I'm sure I've heard things. I think he's really close to Coach Hopkins, and just see how much he's improved year over year. He was a good player last year, but he's gone from good to great. So limiting his catches is the best way to do it, and that's not easy because he can get you in transition. He's starting to shoot the three, which he didn't even shoot the three that much last year. He's really shooting the three well. He scores all three levels, and he'll dunk on you. So there's we just got. I think the less he touches it, the better.
And with what a great season it's been, and a lot of fun to be had in the postseason, it would be easy for these guys, I think, to maybe look ahead to the Pac-12 tournament and the tournament that lies beyond. But just how have you gauged their ability to just kind of stay in the moment, focus on the games ahead, and especially this week?
Their ability is probably better than our staff's. I mean, whatever. It's hard, and it's hard for everyone, and just always the gossip and rumors and stuff like that. So they've done great, man. I don't notice. We stay on routine. I think that's the biggest thing. Like yesterday, we stayed in our routine, and I think we're closer to fully healthy. And they've done a good job with anything. Like I said, we're getting more attention, and I really felt like, man, SC played. I think both those teams played really hard, but we did too. It was just this game's been really intense. It's been kind of fun.
I know you've touched on Reuben a little bit. Obviously, 40 blocks this season, and every time it seems like he dunks the ball, he brings a lot of passion and energy, and he lets the crowd know. I'm curious, what kind of spark does he kind of bring to this group for you?
Oh, he's a complete giver, man. He's a fountain, and he really enjoys his teammates. He likes to break the huddle, family on three. He gave gifts to everyone at Christmas. He's really bought, and it's unique. And he wants to he's still a young guy, but you can tell that he's got that kind of personality. Is what I call an identity guy, and his identity is to be physical and block shots and run the floor and get dunks, and those are inspirational plays that he can make. Those block shots are huge. Oftentimes, like I think he really, Bona was tough cover, but like just on some of the drives with Andrews the last game, was able to block those. That just ignites your fast break. It just motivates them. So he's been awesome.
And with this being the last home game of the regular season and senior day as well, what do these group of seniors mean to you in this program?
Andre's really special, and watch him grow up and become the leader, which is amazing coming from North Macedonia. Barely, his English got a lot better. And I said when him and TJ came in, Bamba, you could tell their work ethic and their desire to be good. And I even think some guys in that class are maybe more talented. But I was like, those two are going to be rock solid. And to see him do that, and how this group has really been even keeled, a tribute to him, I think, just how his approach to everything. So he's special. We got Ben we're honoring, who's awesome. Ben Olson will be a great coach someday if he wants to do that. Really low-key. Actually played junior college. Walked on, went junior college, came back, and been instrumental. It gets confusing with the COVID. Who else do we have? Isaac. Oh yeah, Isaac. He's pretty good. It's been a journey with Isaac. Which I wish we'd had him for 2 years. We tried to get him, but we're lucky enough to get him this round. And being from the state, and what a wonderful young person. And he's engaged to be married, and I think I'm getting the invite. I saw his fiance, so I was pretty proud of that. So just a really good group that, best season I've ever been a part of thus far, and there's still a lot more to go.
Last home game, and knowing what, the fan support that you've gotten over the last few weeks, how much are you going to relish, I guess, this last time in front of the fans here?
It's just a unique, like I said, when the schedule came out, I saw an opportunity we could have really 3 good crowds to finish the season. Hopefully you're in a position to ascend, and it's actually worked out better than I anticipated. And to finish this thing with Washington on our home floor with, there's always something at stake, and it's a rivalry, but then, we're still in the hunt to win the league, which is just incredible. So we should be good crowd. It'll be loud. It'll be exciting. And I told our guys that, I've been coaching 31 years. There's not many, I maybe think a handful of times where we've been in a game like this, and it'll be exciting.
Does it mean anything last time against them as conference foes? And
I told you, the league's come back together in a few years, so I'm not that stressed about it. It'll happen, so common sense will prevail. I'm going to stick to the guns. But be the last one. It'll be unique, and obviously, and everyone asked me, is this really gratifying that, it's our last? I said, we hadn't talked about it, hadn't worried about it, because I do think basketball is unique in the sense you can be in the West Coast Conference or whatever, and you be a Final Four national championship type team. So those things, it's more. I think it's more football, like everything to say. So anyway, but it'll be fun. I think we might be playing them in the future too, so it'll be good.
Kind of going off of that, I know the guys, they come from everywhere, and they might have a team that they really want to beat because maybe they felt they weren't recruited by them, or they have a friend on the other team. But is there something about this being such a rivalry between the two schools that helps them kind of buy into it, and a player that might not have cared about Washington before all of a sudden becomes like an enemy of theirs?
Oh yeah, I just think once you put on the crimson, once you're in Pullman, you're kind of whatever. And I'm sure it's probably the other way too. I don't know. I think they're more our rival. I think we want to beat them more than they want to beat us. But yeah, certainly it's something to bond. I think the Ballad of the Palouse has been let loose. It was supposed to be a little private thing, but we mentioned the Huskies in there. So I'm not supposed to say that word, but it's part of our mantra. So I grew up in Texas, so Texas A&M was kind of always eyeballing Texas, kind of same thing.
You mentioned the small ball lineup allows you guys to get Isaac the ball a little easier. It seems like without that lineup on the floor, it's a little harder to do that. How big of an issue do you see that being, and how can you guys get Isaac, kind of going?
You know what? It's a catch-22 because you want to have your best team. What's going to give us the best margin per possession, and that's what I said. Some of these teams, team to team, is a little different. And Isaac's been willing to sacrifice some of that, and that's part of getting double team front and playing behind. But if we're better defensively and rebounding, and that's going to be the margins, and that's what we'll do. And we've got some other ways to get him the ball that like in the Arizona game, we did a good job getting him to, and when they're making it really hard, and Kashad Johnson really good defender, so we have to remind ourselves of that too a little bit. And he was sick last week, but I told him he played great and make your free throws. You would have 15 and 7 or something, or whatever. Get the last game, and with being sick, it's pretty good.
He was still sick Saturday too.
A little bit, it's just he didn't practice all week, so I'm sure he wasn't. You know how that takes you out of you. You're gonna be a little lethargic in that, but I think he's hard because you can't tell the difference with him. He's every day. He is a consistent human being.
Are him and Kamani both kind of in the clear now?
Yeah, I think so.
You mentioned Andre, and obviously he has that fifth year if he wants to use it. Have you had conversations with him about kind of him coming back, him not coming back? Has he made a decision at least to you yet?
No, he hasn't, but we have had the conversation. It's just, and that's what you don't like to do during the season. And he owes us nothing, but it would be awesome to have him back. But I'm a little gun shy after the Rodman situation last year. So as I told him, I said, look, we'll figure it out. And he knows where I stand on it, and he's a special guy, it'll be interesting. I mean, he's been away from home for a long time, but he's beloved here, and he knows that. And I always tell him, take as much college basketball. If it's not the NBA, then you play college as long as you can. We all miss college once you leave. Have you left, Finnick?
For a year.
All right.
For a year for COVID.
Yeah, there you go.
But no.
No, yeah, I haven't either since I was 18, so don't worry.
Has anyone here approached you about a possible contract extension, and what would you want that to look like if you're interested in that?
Just something we tabled in this year, but they definitely have intimated, they want me here, and that's awesome. It's a great feeling, comforting, and that's been from day one. After my first year, they extended me, and that was pretty. And that's always been like, we'd love to have you here. What you about? So that's great.